Hello and welcome to Bergkamp Wonderland. Tonight on this festive edition, I will be joined by Danny, the GFP. How are you, Daniel?
I am very good, Jason. How are you?
I'm very well.
Sorted.
I'm in good company tonight, so it's happy days. It's happy days.
4 wise men talking nonsense.
Talking bollocks.
Good hours.
Oh, we can't watch a darts. We can't watch a
this.
darts.
There's a bloke who looks like Gaza playing some bloke with a black and white Mohican.
Fucking hell.
That's one for the kiddies.
Yeah. Okay, next we have our Ozzie in Canada land. It's Dom. How are you, Dom?
Well, Jace, what's happening?
Nothing much, mate. Shooting the breeze of top blokes. It's all good.
It's the spirit.
It's kinda cold.
Freezing. OG lied to me last year. 12 months ago when I first got here, he said, this is about as cold as it gets. It was about 4 degrees. Caught up with him the other week. It was -7.
What?
Oh.
Wait, was he living in his freezer?
Jesus.
I don't know.
Disgraceful.
I was not impressed. It's not impressed.
I can imagine. That's not fun. Were you wearing a vest?
False advertising. I was wearing everything.
I can imagine you turned up in flip-flops and shorts. You know, chilled out Aussie in foreign parts.
I was chilled out all right. Fuck, still haven't defrosted.
Oh, good stuff. Okay, talking of OG, he's the next man up. The man with possibly the best beard in the world, Geoff Holifront. Geoff, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Jace?
Mate, I'm talking Arsenal with you. I'm happy. I'm just happy. Yeah.
You know it.
Yeah.
I'm out here lying to Australians about the general temperature. I'm living the dream, pal. Absolutely loving it. I fooled him for a whole year.
He fell for it again.
He fell for it. To be fair to him, it was cold. We met up a couple of weeks ago. It was cold, at least for the west coast of Canada. It was probably pretty normal for the Torontonians.
Oh, geez. Funny enough, I was talking to my mate. My mate was over last night from Montreal. We were chatting. He said, it's getting cold out there. He was happy to be over. It was sunshine for him. It was summer.
Oh, yeah. Not warm there.
Terrible stuff. Well, okay, that's our panel for tonight, guys. Illustrious company for me tonight. Really exciting. We're going straight to WBA, and it's Dom.
Well, there's not really much to talk about, is there? Should be a pretty fast roundup. It's about as exciting as a kick in the testicles, because we knew what Tony Pulis was going to do. Sit back, put everybody behind the ball, including himself, and just borrowed Mourinho's bus and parked that well and truly in front of goal. And other than that, notable mention was for the goalkeeper for West Brom. Seems that every time someone comes to our place, they turn into Manuel Neuer for 90 minutes. So that was a little bit frustrating, but it was good to see that in the end we didn't drop the heads too much and remained sort of patient and managed to find the goal at the end. There was the usual shithousery time wasting from their keeper for probably the 20th minute onwards. I'm sure we'll probably discuss that a little bit, because I think that kind of caused a fair amount of discussion on Twitter afterwards, because it seems a tactic that a lot of managers seem to pass on to their keepers before they come to play against us. But other than that, I mean, it's hard to really analyse something where a team has absolutely no interest in playing football against us, and all they want to do is sit back and soak up pressure, and they really didn't even look like trying to counter-attack for most of the game. They were probably just hoping for a corner or a set piece somewhere, and a draw he would have been well and truly happy with. But thankfully we didn't give up, and Olivier Giroud scored a very, very good header at the end of the 87th minute, I think it was, which was always, I think it makes it a little bit more exciting when a team's been trying to scrape out a draw and time waste for so long, and right at the very end you manage to score a goal. It makes it that little bit more sweeter than if you score in the 40th minute and end up winning 1-0. So hopefully we can use that as a little bit of momentum now after coming off of 2 losses, and we can get back to some winning form, and hopefully we can string together a few wins, because we're 9 points off the top at the moment. So I think it's going to take a pretty nice stretch of form at some point in the season to get ourselves back up and in the conversation. So I know that Geoff's got a few little interesting tidbits on the game that probably cover things a little bit more in depth than my rambling. So might need to go to the Canadian for some smart header analytics.
I think that's the way forward, isn't it? OG, take it away.
Yeah, it was it was about as pleasant a game as maybe getting your annual physical. I'm a little bit hoarse from coughing from it a little bit here, but no, it was a game that we needed to win after 2 losses on the road. After being ahead, we definitely needed to win this. Arsene Wenger's come out several times in the past and he says, the key when you lose is not to lose the next game. We did 2 in a row and three in a row, or even a draw in the circumstances up to the 86th, 87th minute when Big Ollie Giroud scored. It would have felt like a loss. So it was really important to win that game. And there were a lot of good things happening there, despite the fact that it wasn't what I would call aesthetically pleasing. The boys didn't let their heads drop. They were working hard. They had a lot of endeavor on the ball. I'd say probably from about the 70th minute on, we were starting to whip in the crosses. So the warning signs were there. Lucas Perez, when he came on, he had 2 fantastic crosses. The first one low along the box from the left-hand side. And then from the right-hand side, he found Hector Bellerin, who, you have to think if he'd found Giroud, it might have ended in the back of the net. So the crosses were starting to become a warning sign. And, to be honest, we talked a little bit about the statistical side of things. For those who know me, know that I like to look at things like shots on target for. In fact, we had 11 shots on target that game, most of them from Alexis Sanchez, who proved that he can operate from the left-hand side with Ollie Giroud just fine, in my opinion. And that 11 shots on target for was our season high this year. So while it did feel like a bit of a grind-out win, a lot of times they had 8 or 9 guys behind the ball defending, which was always sort of their MO, if you will. But the fact that we kept going, we kept trying, we worked hard, and we got that goal from Olivier Giroud in the 86th to 87th minute just was a testament to the fact that we were working hard. We really wanted it, and we were up for it. So I don't think it was quite as typical as some of the other games that tend to go that way, in that we were so dominant of that West Brom team. We just couldn't find the back of the net. And we definitely had our chances. I think back to Sanchez himself hitting the post. He had a bit of craft to him. He had a few shots from outside of the box as well. So yes, it wasn't as exciting as, say, a 3-0 win against Chelsea earlier this season. But in fact, when you start to look at the numbers and you peel it back, it was a really good performance, a professional performance. We need to string some wins together now to get on a bit of run. As Dom said, 9 points back. We've got to win some football games. So you hope that we can use that as a springboard and take that against Crystal Palace this weekend and go on a bit of a run. There should be no reason why we can't. We've got the team. Take a bit of confidence from that performance and move on.
Cool. Yeah. Dan, building on what Geoff's spoken about, we had 75% plus of possession. There didn't seem to be any press for them. They were happy to defend deep and put 6 across the back a lot of the time. Were we wasteful with some of our chances? Should we have scored more? What did you think?
Well, I think the age-old adage of should we shoot more doesn't apply to that game. It was interesting to see that no one had told Wenger and no one had told the players that we were no longer playing with Sanchez up front. We were playing with Giroud up front. And until when the goal score went in, it was about the 82nd minute, something like that. And 86th minute, they went, oh, shit, we're playing with Giroud up front. Oh, I thought we were playing with Sanchez up front. Oh, let's change the way we play football. Let's put in a few high balls, which is what Giroud feeds off of. And it's just weird that it seemed to go the whole game with them passing in everywhere, but no one was putting in deep reaching balls high up in the air for Giroud to do what he does best. And I thought that was annoying. But this is like we were saying, what Dom was saying before we started this, that these sort of games happen every now and then. We absolutely murder a team, and sometimes 5 or 6 of those will go in, and sometimes only 1 will go in. And I don't know what the reason for that is. It's just that, I mean, look at Foster here. He got a rating of 8.6. That's an amazing, and man of the match, deservedly. But the thing I was looking at, apart from the way that we were taking on the game, was the fact that I've been saying all season, oh look, we're 40 odd games, all competitions, we've lost 1, and then it was, oh no, that's ruined after Southampton. Well, Premier League, we've lost 1 in the last 25 games or whatever it was. Oh no, we've lost 2 away now. So now this week's stat that I'm bending to make us look good is we're 14 Premier League home games undefeated. So there you go. Grab at those straws. And it's interesting to see that the he was giving Gibbs a chance, which is nice. But Gibbs had a good game, and then he got booked and he had to come off. He seems to be sticking with the Xhaka Coquelin. Why am I going Coqueliki? That's not who it is. It's Coquelin, isn't it? It's your fault I'm saying Coqueliki. And Iwobi. Yeah, well, it says here on the Who Scored that Iwobi was playing on the right and Sanchez was playing on the left. That's not the way around that it was it? I think that everybody did move around a little bit. But Iwobi only got a 6.9 again. But I think we really missed Theo Walcott, because I know we give him a lot of grief when he plays that he doesn't always do what he's meant to be doing. But he has got the experience and he has got the ability to get assists and to get goals. So I think there's only a minor injury for him. So I was all right with the game. 90% pass success rate was fantastic. 75.6% possession, which is one of the biggest amounts we've had in years. Equal amount of tackles, 15 each. We had 6 corners, they had 5. But the 26 shots compared to their 3 sums the whole game up, really. Pulis out Pulis, Mr. Pulis.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I mean, they have... they're not the greatest side, to be fair to them, even though they're doing very well this season. And I think, they know they haven't got the quality to play us.
They didn't really try, though, did they?
No, yeah. This is the one thing I
found. Though, we would have opened them up early, and it would have been all over.
They did have one chance.
That's the only tactic that they would have been able to use to get any points, and it is frustrating because we just want to watch a nice game of football. But I mean, it'd be nice if teams did whatever we wanted them to, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it'd be lovely. I mean, one of the things that gets me is our passing accuracy was quite high on the day because there was no press for them. They were defending so deep, they were just soaking up pressure, which, to be fair to them, they did very well. I
mean, they were only one. I mean, his next tactics would have been, right, all 11 players line up on the goal line, we'd be back to the pitch, and then we'd have had 100% possession. But the one time they did have a decent shot, I think it was Jakob come in. I think it's one of their centre-backs on the left-hand side. Was it the left or the right? I can never remember, which depends on which way around you're looking at it from the goalie's point of view. Nearly scored, and I thought that would have been typical. We have 500% possession, 1 million shots at goal, and then they fluke one, win 1-0, and then they go there. Then they would have gone really defensive if they'd have scored a goal.
I remember a game years ago. I was up in the North Bank, and it was West Ham at home. And it was 85 minutes pressure from us. And Mike Small, edge of the box, just launched a volley. He got lucky, got his foot in the end of it, and it was so disappointing. Going home, losing 1-0 was just it was bitter. It's bitter, It's just bitter and horrible when you lose those games.
I'm worried that we were playing exactly the same style of football that we do when we have Sanchez up front. We weren't playing to Giroud's strengths. Like when Giroud comes on, and then we change the way we play, and that's how he comes on and scores goals now. But one thing that I did think that Giroud gets a lot of grief from people, but you look at the celebration that he did when he scored that goal. He was almost in tears, the poor bloke. He was so passionate. So, we've done it, thank God. After all that, didn't give up for the entire game. So, a lot of people on Twitter, as you know, they always go, it's the end of the world. We only won 1-0. We bloody won. That's all I care about.
To be fair, it's 3 points time at the moment, isn't it? It doesn't matter how you win. Dom, Danny's spoken about the lack of quality crosses coming into the box. Was that down to West Brom's tactics, or do you feel we let ourselves down in that area?
I think a bit of both. It would have been nice to try to whip in a few earlier ones throughout the game, but West Brom is so tactically drilled to get back and flood the box and those areas. And I was looking at some passing maps earlier, and you see the ball get to sort of the final third and then just get sprayed out to the side because there was no way through that defensive shield, I guess, of getting narrow and squishing everybody into that tight area. So even if we threw some crosses in, more than likely it would have been Giroud against 6 West Brom defenders anyway. And then you lose possession of the ball and you potentially open yourself up to getting countered, which is potentially why we didn't do it as much. But I still think it would have been good to if we could move the ball a bit faster down the flanks and whip it in a little earlier, so it kind of can unsettle defenders a little bit. They don't get time to settle back. That would have been at least another dimension of defending they would have had to worry about, because I think it was probably a little bit easy for them for most of the game to defend the way we were playing. I think you made a point earlier about Gibbs where I think, given a few more games and a little bit more time, he might have that confidence to get forward a little bit more and be a little bit more attacking, because he seemed to, he seemed, which is good that he was being defensive minded. But against West Brom, I think if Monreal had been playing, we probably would have seen him getting forward a lot more on that side and overlapping with a Sanchez or a Wobie or whoever was out there, and potentially getting some crosses in and causing a little bit more mischief. But look, overall, like we've said, it's not really a game that's worth getting too upset about. We got 3 points, and if you look at what Chelsea had been doing recently, there's been a lot of 1-0 wins that they've managed to scrape through, and you're probably not going to hear their supporters complaining too much because they're 9 points ahead of us. So a 1-0 win's not really the end of the world. It could have easily been more. I want to see us score a bunch of goals too, but it's not a common trend. It sort of was a one-off game. Although in saying that, I think Crystal Palace on Monday is going to be a very similar story, and hopefully we can get that early goal, and that's going to completely change the way that they have to play if you can do that. But the longer the game goes on without scoring, the more confident the defenders get, and the more the more frantic we get, and the more pressure we put on ourselves, and you start snatching at chances and you get a little bit panicky. So that's what I was really impressed with, is that we didn't really do that. We kept plugging away and didn't stop, and eventually we got that goal.
To be fair, as a team, they showed great tenacity. But you mentioned getting the ball up the flanks a bit quicker. Geoff, in transition, we've got a lot of pace with Gibbs and Bellerin. We didn't kind of make the most of it, to me, on the day. The midfield, Jacques is trying to penetrate. He's got a great passing range. I'm being harsh on Coughlin here. He's unable to find players as well as some of our other midfielders. He hasn't got that passing range. He's not as effective on the ball as a lot of people. What did you make of it? Were we kind of disjointed, or do you think it was fine and it was just one of those games?
I think you're being a bit harsh on the boys, if I'm honest. I think we've talked a lot about the stats already, that West Brom really didn't show any desire to get forward. And when, that's when we catch teams out on the counter with our pace. And when a team's quite content to sit 6-7 guys behind the ball, it just makes it difficult. So, you do see these fans who will come out and be very critical of our team. And I'm not saying that you are, Jace, at all, but they'll say, why didn't we counter them? Why didn't we attack with pace? Why didn't we do this? But a lot of times you've got to, in all cases, you've got to take into account the competition and what they're doing. So if they're not getting forward, and they weren't, one shot on target for them the whole game, 3 in total, tells you what their ambitions were in that game. The fact that they were time wasting every chance they got, they were sitting 6-7 guys behind the ball. It really tells you where positionally they were set up. They weren't getting into our final third all that often, so it makes it very difficult. You're always going to be trying to break a team down. That's not easy to do, and I think it was Don that said that the more that they defended, the rhythm that they got into, picking up their checks, the more comfortable they got, the harder it's going to be on our boys. You talk about the crossing as well. I sort of mentioned this earlier as well. I think probably that's some of the instruction that's given to Lucas Perez. In the few games that we've seen him in, his crossing's been exceptional. It's been very good. And right away, he had 2 or 3 really decent crosses. So you'd like us to come out a little bit stronger with Olivier Giroud up front, but the fact that he got the crosses going, ultimately, it wasn't his assist, it was Ozil's to Giroud. But you'd like to maybe see us click into that a little bit sooner. And just speaking on Giroud's goal, I just want to point out how well that was taken, and I rewatched it about 4 or 5 times again today. He's man marked, plus he's got 4 other guys in basically a square shape around him. So he's got 5 guys around him. They had him marked for all intents and purposes. He's been really strong. He's done really well. That is his strength to hold up, but he also heads that ball as he's on the down. So he's not even jumping into it to get any power, and he's just placed it in the top corner. we're going to love the volleys. We'll probably talk about goals so far in 2016 that we've enjoyed later. None of them are going to be like a header like that, but it was a really well taken goal. And for a guy who hasn't been starting this season, it's really well done on Olivier Giroud. So, I know he's got his haters, but what a fantastic finish to win us the game and get us 3 points there. Speaking on the style of play, I'll take that game any day of the week. The fact that, again, we showed some endeavor. We kept going. We were grinding it out. We were trying to break them down. I'll take those 1-0 wins till the end of the season if that's what it takes. So, not too disappointed on that. I think probably we won't look back at that game at the end of the season and say, yep, that was the game where it all changed for us. But at the same time, they can't always be like that. So 3 points at home, avoiding a third defeat, and breaking down a resolute West Brom defense was quite good.
Brilliant. No. I think you're being very fair there. To be fair, it's one of those areas where you don't choose who you play. They set up the way they're going to set up, and the guys in the pitch are going to deal with it the best they can. I totally agree on with regards to Giroud's goal. He's been really strong there. Fantastic desire to make the ball his, and a great finish. Ben Foster had a hell of a game. Dan, talking to Ben Foster, people have mentioned already time wasting. In the 83rd minute, he gets booked finally for time wasting. When a referee's going to deal with this, do you think they're ever going to start dealing with it in the first half and say, do you know what, cut the crap, instant yellow card for time wasting, let's not mess about, let's keep the game flowing. People are paying good money to come to watch football. What are your thoughts?
Well, if they had any sense, that's what they would do, but they don't do it, do they? I mean, rather than take your microphone's too close to your mush. No, your earphones, I think I'm getting a little bit of feedback. Don't worry, it just means we're hearing me twice. Oh, that can't be a bad thing. So normally before the game, you see the goalies taking shots at each other, warming up. He wasn't. He was just holding on to the ball, time wasting, warming up. That's how he warms up, by time wasting. Just to give you some idea of how well he did. He got an 8.6. Last game, 6.1, 7.3, 6, 7, 6.3, 6.9, 6.2, 5.7 against Man City. He hasn't got a rating that high all season against any team in any competition. So it just gives you some kind of idea of what he did. And yet the referee should have done it, because if the referee would have booked him earlier, then he'd have known, well, I can't carry on doing that because I'm going to get another booking. He'd have been forced to play the game more. When maybe Pulis would have brought on another goalkeeper and then just have continuous substitution of goalies every half an hour when they get a booking for time wasting. And then all the extra substitute. But oddly, he only brought on 2 substitutes. Well, that's 30 seconds there he could have wasted, couldn't he? Brought on another goalkeeper.
Sure,
but
it
was a bit annoying. But that they come there to do that. They go there to get the draw, which is what they need to avoid relegation normally. But West Brom have been on a half decent run lately. They've been in the top half of the table. So you've got, I know the Stoke fans.
They're 8th, aren't they?
Yeah. Stoke fans used to get really fed up with it when he was there, really boring football. I know some of them make a joke about it and say how much they liked it, but attendances don't lie. I think their attendances were down. Now under Mark Hughes, they're playing decent football. And now people like him just kill the game. You go in there to get the result. You're taking all the fun out of the game. It's kind of pointless. I mean, they do want the points, and I see why they do it, but you're kind of killing the spirit of the game. But there again, they'll say, if we did open up and play, you'd murder us. You'd beat us 7-0. So, I don't know. That's just football, I suppose. And no doubt Arsenal have done it in the past. I can't think of any offhand, but we've deliberately gone to an away game to try and get the away draw. That's how we used to do it in the Cup Winners' Cup and the European Cup and the UEFA Cup back in the day. That's what you used to do: get the away draw, get the home win.
Yeah, no, it's fair comment. Yeah, well, I think that's about it really for West Brom, isn't it? There's not a massive amount more to talk about there. As Dom's mentioned, going into the Palace game, we can probably expect to see more of the same from them. It's a difficult period, obviously coming off the back of 2 really poor performances and 2 bad losses. Not in the fact of we lost the games, but in the fact the way we played, You know, we were insipid at times against City. It was nice to see a change, and the guys come back and actually deliver. You know, people can moan, "Oh, it's only West Brom, it's only 1-0," but it's all about 3 points. That's all that matters at the moment. Yet, you know, we can ask for them to be a little bit sharper, better on transition. You can ask all you want, but they've gone out there and they've delivered, which is a great credit to them.
That was the name of Simon's podcast, all about the 3 points. Did you know that?
Who's Simon?
Oh, Simon.
Blog or podcast?
Yeah. Simon Collins.
How many Simons have we got?
Yeah, but you said podcast, Danny.
Oh, sorry, Dom. Yeah, him and a couple of his mates from university. I did one called All About the 3 Points. That's how I first knew him. Damn fine podcast as well. Don't do it anymore, I don't think.
I'm not being funny with Collins.
Did I say Collins? Oh,
Collins.
I said Simon, didn't I?
Yeah. This is the thing. You know, if you said cocktail, I didn't know who you're talking about.
If I said Quiff.
Yeah, we've been all over that.
You know, summertime boy.
He's all over Instagram at the moment, posting pictures of Abu Dhabi, wherever he is. Abu Dhabi.
Yeah,
He's always got a cocktail and a quiff in hand.
Yes, to be fair.
And not always his own.
Our very own Spider-Man. He's got an uncanny resemblance to who's the last guy who played Spider-Man?
We went through this before, and I had no idea. Toby Jones.
Never mind. On we go. Okay, so at the end of 2016, guys, that was the last game of the calendar year. How do you think it's gone, Dom? What are your highlights? What are the lowlights? You know, do you think it's been a decent 2016 or? No,
not really. I think not winning the title last season was, I don't know. I think that's going to go down in a few years' time as one of those. It probably already is a little bit now, a little bit sour, but it's probably going to only get more so. If you'd said at the start of last season that we're going to finish above Man United, Chelsea, Tottenham, Man City, then you would have thought, well, shit, we're going to win the league. And for Leicester to come through, you know, all credit to them. They played well. They did well all season. But a squad like ours shouldn't be getting beaten by Leicester, really, should they? And especially from where we were top at Christmas, and then it just all went to shit like it so often does. And I think that was the disappointing thing for me personally, is just same season again, you know, had some promise, go to shit for a period of games and then play catch up for the rest of it. Come home strong, but too little too late. And I think so far it's a pretty similar story this season as well. And I'm sure that everybody's going to have their opinions and sort of judgments on why that is. But at the end of the day, that's what probably frustrates me the most about 2016. You know, we've played some good football here and there. We played some consistent games. We've, you know, like Danny said, some of the stats up until a couple of weeks ago looked really good. But it's just a matter of, I think it was 2015, we were, you know, if that was a calendar year, we were the best team in that calendar year. But calendar years don't really mean much, do they? It's about being able to produce a high quality of football over a full season. And unfortunately, we haven't done that for a very long time now. I think if we did, I think we would probably win the league. I think that it's so difficult now to string together those big runs of form and to get them timing right. That I can't see it happening again anytime too soon. I think it's going to take something a little different. Something in the team needs changing. I think there's a systematic problem somewhere. I'm not sure what it is exactly. If it's personnel, if it's management, if it's tactics, if it's just the way things are now. But I think something needs to change for us to be at that next little level. I'm not sure what you guys think of the 2016 as a whole, but I know they've probably been a little bit down on it, but I think that we could have just done a lot better.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't disagree with you, to be fair. Geoff, your take on it, you know, do you agree with Dom, or are you slightly more optimistic? Where are you at with this?
Well, I do agree with Dom, actually. Although I would say a couple of weeks ago I was slightly more optimistic. So a little bit of both, but Yeah, certainly it was a big disappointment last year, and it was even, I think it was Valentine's Day that Danny Welbeck scored that last minute header to beat Leicester at home. And we were top of the world at that point, as well as being pretty close, if not top of the league, if I remember correctly. So for it to kind of go all wrong from there, Leicester obviously did what they needed to do. I think they put together a strong series of 1-0 wins. And you look at Chelsea this year, that's exactly what they're doing. They're on a strong run. They're getting a lot of 1-0 wins. And that's what you need to do. It doesn't have to be glamorous. It doesn't have to be a 5-0 win away from home, but winning games 1-0, keeping the opposition at bay, not allowing a lot of shots against, not conceding goals. That's where we need to be. We certainly have strengthened as a squad this year, so I think from a transfers perspective, there's something to that. I think you think back to last January, we brought in Mohamed El Neni, who definitely contributed more last season. I think he was the man of the match for the last couple of months of the year, and in terms of where we rescued it and finishing second. And then, of course, in the summer, Lucas Perez, who we've talked about, Mustafi. Has looked fantastic, and I think we've really missed him in those 2 losses a couple weeks ago, because he's looked like he's settled. He's been a fantastic defender so far for us. Rob Holding, when he's come in, has looked like he's quite capable of doing a job as a young center back. So he's been very good. And then of course we've talked a lot about Granit Xhaka, and the contributions he's starting to make. Certainly his passing game, the range of his passing looks promising. He's scored a couple long shot goals, so his shooting looks impressive at times. Other times he's in Rosette. So, I mean, there are some positives there, but it just doesn't seem like we're headed in the right direction. To be 9 points back at this stage, that's a big issue. And I don't know if we're going to have what it takes to claw Chelsea back. I mean, keep in mind, Chelsea, they're not in the Champions League. So they can get on a good run here and stay fit. It's going to be very, very, very difficult. So, it's tough. Have we gone backwards? No. Are there things to be optimistic? Yes. I think Dom hits on it too when he talks about something being sort of systemic in our team. And I equate it almost to some sort of confidence. I mean, we've analyzed the heck out of it. Is it the fact that we're in Europe? Are we tired? Are we not rotating enough? It's really, really hard to say, because you get to some of these games and our team just doesn't show up. So that there does seem to be something in it, in the comment about there's sort of a systemic weakness in our squad. I don't know what needs to change. I mean, we could talk about it till we're blue in the face, but there's definitely something there that needs to change to see us challenging. I'd say that you'd probably not have an argument if you said the squad is probably good enough to be, if not winning the title, very close. When we have probably one of the best defenses in the league. Alexis Sanchez, one of the best forwards in the league. Our midfield, the fact that we have options between Ramsey, Xhaka, Coquelin, Cazorla when he's fit, it looks good. We've got plenty of bodies. The upturn in Walcott's form this term has been a positive. So there's a team there that's capable of doing things, and I think that's where some frustration comes from. But is it going to be enough this season going forward and looking at 2017? I don't know. I think we might fall a little short.
Okay, that's fair enough. Dan, I want you to give your thoughts as well, and I want you to pick up on a point. Now, Geoff's just mentioned in the last couple of games, the City game and Everton game, we didn't have Mustafi there, and it's fairly obvious to anybody who watches us play. Mustafi is the leader in that in our centre of defence. He organises really well. He's a great communicator. He is the guy who leads us. Do you think there's a lack of leadership on the pitch? Because, there's a marked difference when he hasn't been on the park. Talk to me about that. What are your thoughts?
I don't think it's a lack of leadership at all, because we've had players in the past. Arsenal have always been accused of having a lack of leadership since the Vieira Adams days. And so if the same thing continues and for on and on and on and everything changes apart from one thing, that's got to be the manager. I wouldn't be surprised if the players out there think, well, I better not say anything, because we've seen before, if you're a big character at Arsenal, Wenger doesn't like you. Wenger has to be the number one character, the biggest voice, the man in charge of everything, whether it be picking the teaspoons or whether it be picking the kit or whatever the other things that he does. I can't remember. We read so many things all the time about it. I mean, look, Per Mertesacker, he's no shrinking violet, is he? I mean, Sanchez is one of the best players in Chile's history. I mean, I'm not going to go and list all the players, but those players out there, they should be able to do what they want when it comes to shouting and encouraging other people,
Dan,
other players.
I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to challenge you there.
Oh,
But against City and against Everton,
yeah.
okay, we were insipid. We were awful. It was dire. Okay, and the one person who's shown clear leadership on the pitch,
yeah,
okay, at the back has been Mustafi. You watch him
He's
communicating.
new to the club. He doesn't know his place. That'll soon wear off. He'll soon learn that when he's been dropped, that you don't shout. You don't. Wenger's the only one there who calls the shots. That's the gist of what I'm trying to say.
But the thing is, Danny, with that is that there's so many things that contradict that with what Simon's heard with, his journalistic roots and stuff, how Arsene Wenger is absolutely petrified of any confrontation. Never confronts his players over anything, never tells them off, doesn't like upsetting them, doesn't like doing anything. So that contradicts everything that you're saying.
Well, maybe to a certain
You know what I
degree,
mean? I just don't think that if somebody was out there yelling and screaming and ordering people around, that he would then tell them not to do that. That doesn't really make much sense.
Well, maybe they've seen. I mean, I'm just guessing, but maybe they've seen that when other players have done it, they haven't lasted long at the club. And when people first come in, they don't.
I don't think that we've ever gotten rid of a. When have we gotten rid of a player like that? When has he pushed somebody out the door that's a great player that is also? Podolski wasn't a great player.
Oi! How dare you?
He never pushed Vieira out the door. He never pushed players out the door because they were strong characters.
Well, maybe they get dropped, but my point is, I mean, without going into analysing each and every player, I always get the feeling there's only one person at the club who's allowed to give orders, and that's Wenger. And then if players can see stuff going wrong, they don't do it. Plus, they're all bottlers. So many of them, whether it be as a collective, as a team, or whether it be individual players. Like Jace, you were saying, what's the highs and lows from the season? Well, my highs would be the fact that we've got a fan. How many years have we called out, we need a decent goalkeeper? We've got one of the best goalkeepers in the league. We've got some of the best defenders. We've got, look at the stats that Sanchez has got already this season. Premier League, 18 games, 12 goals, 7 assists. Well, the last time we had anything like that is when we had Van Persie, and the time before that is when we had Henry. And that sort of stuff is so rare. I mean, Walcott, 8 goals in 16 games. Ozzie getting goals and assists, but people have moaned at him the whole time that he's been there, that he doesn't get enough goals. Everything is clicking into position, but yet we have the same thing. So my down thing would be we bottle it. We cannot beat the big teams on a regular basis. Yes, we beat Chelsea, but Chelsea were a club in transformation from the Jose club to then straight after that, he's gone and Conte's gone, right, this isn't working. We're now going to go back to what the Italians like to do, is play 3 at the back, and done that, and they've had 12 wins in a row. That's the kind of thing that is never, ever, ever going to happen at Arsenal. Wenger is never going to learn from his mistakes. He doesn't change things often enough when it comes to substitutions. He'll just stay with the same thing. Plan A isn't working, well, stick with plan A. And so that's the whole thing with nothing ever changes. Like when I was arguing with, or disagreeing with Geoff Arsenal on last week's pod, I said, look, the stadium's changed, the owners have changed, the coaches have changed, the players have changed, the fans have changed, everything has changed apart from one thing, and that's Wenger. And if the same problem happens year after season after season, then it's got to come down to one thing. It's got to come from Arsene. And maybe the thing about that, you were right, that the players that have been big characters at the club haven't been kicked out, but they haven't hung around, haven't they? They haven't been replaced. I mean, I'm sure that when John was saying that Borussia Dortmund, Borussia Mönchengladbach last season, when Xhaka was there, he was shouting and screaming and being a nutcase. And then as soon as he comes and does it at Arsenal, he gets dropped. And now he seems to be towing the team line of you do as you're told, you don't do all these other things that you're known for, which is what made you such a great player at BMG. Then he's back in the team. I don't know.
I think you're seeing things that aren't there, to be honest. I think if you look at if you look at what I think there was a systematic downfall of those two games that we lost is that the midfield was not. Are you talking about how good the defense is and how good the forward line is? And the thing that we don't have at the moment is a functioning midfield. I think the connection between our defense and attack is lacking big time. And if you don't win the midfield battle in those big games, you don't win the game. Even Everton really pressed our midfield. Everton were all over us in midfield, and between Coquelin and Xhaka, it was just not. They just weren't. And I mean, and that's where John Welsh brought up a very, very good point. That Ozzie is getting forward more and almost playing as a second striker, and he's scoring more goals doing that. But then we don't have Santi Cazorla passing him the ball into those dangerous areas. You're relying on Xhaka and Coquelin, and Coquelin can't do it. If you look at the game against West Brom, and this isn't a great example, but it's an example, the highest pass combination for that game wasn't a centre-back to your defensive midfielder, which is normally the case. It was Xhaka to Ozil with 34. He passed Ozil the ball 34 times, which means he completely bypassed Coquelin to do that because Coquelin's position was central and Xhaka was deeper. And Coquelin to Ozil was 15. So nearly or more than twice the amount of times Xhaka was passing straight to Ozil and completely bypassing that midfield area, or the central midfield area, which was a little easier to do because we were so high up the pitch. But it's just a good example that, you know, we don't seem to have the Santi Cazorla midfield link between attack and defence, or defence and attack, sorry, that I think is a huge thing for us. And I think that with Xhaka and Coquelin, we just don't have that. We really don't have that fluid connection to link up. And I think that until that changes, I think we may have a few little issues with creating chances from all over the pitch and against different teams. And if we're going to get pressed hard against teams like Tottenham, we're going to do it to us. Man United, we made Paul Pogba look world class. You know, you look at the big teams, the big games we played this year, and for me, we've lost the midfield battle in all of them. I don't know what the Canadian thinks, but he's probably got some stats to make me look silly.
No stats, Dom. No stats. I promise I'm not bringing them back in. But we talked about this a couple weeks ago when we had a pint. We were talking about Santi Cazorla, and my love for Santi Cazorla is well documented. But you make some excellent points. And first of all, going back to what you were saying, Danny, I don't think it's a leadership issue. I think even if we rehash a little bit of that West Brom game, there were reports that Gabriel and Lucas Perez got into it at the end of the game, and Gabriel's beef was that Perez wasn't covering back. I mean, there's no shortage of personalities on this team. Guys who want to yell, guys who want to shout, guys who want to pull guys, coordinate. There's guys who will lead by example. You think about Alexis Sanchez. He's not a really vocal guy, but he's out there, tends to give it 110% every game. I don't think it's a lack of leaders. I think you've really touched on it, Dom, in terms of our midfield, and that for good teams that are decent at pressing, they've got quality in the midfield, we're fairly easy to play against, and that bears out in terms of the results that we've gotten against sort of the top 5 or 6 teams in the league over the last season and a half, 2 seasons, and that we can press our midfield and we get into trouble, particularly when we are missing Santi. So going back to Santi and Jace, I know you'll have something to say about this, is the fact that he is able to retain the ball when pressed, having both feet on the ball. He's got a low center of gravity, and then he can move the ball quickly so that when teams commit or they press Santi, if he can retain the ball, we can, and they're pushing in the midfield, we can actually break them loose by him moving the ball quickly forward. When we don't have him in the midfield, that fluidity, that link play, that deep line playmaker that he is, and the ability to play under pressure, then we let teams come on to us a little bit more, and we run into trouble in our midfield. Now, I look ahead and I think Santi's what I would call sunsetting in his career at Arsenal. He's got Achilles problems, and Dom, you'd be better to talk about this than me, but it certainly looks like his ability to play 38 games, or even if you by extension with the Champions League, FA Cup, and well, let's call it the Milk Cup because I can't remember what it's called anymore, but by extension maybe 45 games in a season, that's just not going to happen for Santi anymore. He's on the wrong side of 30. So I look ahead, I get worried about our team in terms of who can play that role. I think there's a case for a few different players. I think Ramsey potentially, but there's not a perfect fit. There's not a deep lying playmaker who's got both feet available. I think when we talked about it, the guy we ended up landing on was Jack, but of course he's playing his trade in Bournemouth at the moment, and he's got to learn to release the ball a little bit quicker. But certainly that is an issue.
Bear with me now. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's look at this situation then. Jack drives you forward more. He's not somebody who sprays the ball around like Santi. Okay. Does he have Santi's passing range? I don't think he does. And my question to you would be, everybody tells me what unique talent Santi Cazorla is. Okay. But Santi's gone missing in more big games than I can mention. Okay. There's one truly great performance he's put in against Man City away a couple of seasons ago when we fell upon the Coughlin-Santi partnership. Yes, he's got a great ability to get out of situations, to retain the ball and to spray passes, but he hasn't got the legs against the big teams to keep up with it. No.
I think if you look overall, though, Jace, if you look at the 2015 calendar year where we were the best team, it was Coughlin and Santi in midfield, which is very important. And if you look where we went to shit, it was when they both got injured. And it's a similar story this year.
I've got no problem with that. And I think it's a great point, okay? But my question to you guys is now, so if you have such a unique player, and I've heard so many people, he's irreplaceable in what he does for us, okay? And I've heard people mention certain names, Isco, etc. Well, Isco doesn't play like Santi. He doesn't. Oh. Okay? There's all these names we mentioned, yet nobody actually plays like him. So if that's the case, why are we trying to replace Santi in that way? Why aren't we trying to formulate a midfield partnership with players who you can replace? Where it is easier for the next man up to jump in that position, instead of having a player when he gets injured, nobody has the skill set to be able to replace him. Surely if you look at the system that Chelsea use, for argument's sake, and I remember after them losing to us, apparently they were out of the title race. I remember be saying that, okay? But Matic gets injured, Cesc comes in. Kante get suspended, somebody else comes in. They play a system which is easy for the personnel they have to come in and just take over that role. Whereas we seem to be pinning all our hopes on a guy who's over 30 and a destroyer who, to be quite frank, he's not getting in any of the top 6 clubs whatsoever. Okay, he's not capable. He's not good enough footballer to do that. So, would you change system, or do you try to replace the man? What are your thoughts?
I think you've got a very good point, Jace. You've got to. I'll go to Geoff, but you've got a good point.
I just want to answer that. That there's a lot of things that are related here that we're talking about individually. And I actually do think they're trying to replace him in Granit Xhaka. Now, whether you agree with that or not, that's what I think they're actually doing. And what I mean by that is that when we talk about, it was John and Geoff talking about the fact that Mesut's playing higher up the pitch, and you look at the skill set that Granit Xhaka brings to the club, his ability to break up play, but more than that, his range of passing is excellent. But he tends to play a longer ball. So if you look at that and you say, and again, I'm not Arsene Wenger, so I'm not exactly sure if this is what's going on, but you look at that and you say, okay, Mesut's playing higher up the pitch. Granit Xhaka has a longer range of passing. Perhaps that's one solution that they're looking at, is that we're getting a destroyer in Coughlin who tends to get further up the pitch than Xhaka does when they play together, but getting the ball, give it to Xhaka, and Xhaka can spray that pass a little bit longer. And we're trying to spring defenses with Mesut Ozil making those deeper runs from higher up the pitch. Those things are probably related. Now, are they for sure 100%? I've got no idea. I mean, I don't know, but you raise an excellent point. I don't think we can go out and find another Santi Cazorla. I really don't. And that was something that Dom and I had talked about. And so yeah, why do we try and replace him exactly? I don't know. But I do think we have some players capable of playing in that way. Xhaka, as I mentioned, I think if we bring Jack into the squad or bring him back from Bournemouth, I think it was a big miss him leaving in the summer. I think he would have gotten some games with us this year, and hopefully he stays fit down on the South Coast and comes back next year, because I do think he can do it. I also think Aaron Ramsey's pretty capable. His all-around game is a lot different than those two players, but he has the ability, again, he could be a strong passer when he keeps it simple. So I think there are options there. I agree with you 100%, Jason. I don't think you're going to go out into the world football and find a deep lying playmaker like Santi Cazorla. And will we be, do you try and do that year in, year out through transfer windows, or do you look at what we have and say, okay, well, this guy has a skill set that we can use in Granit Xhaka, or we've got it internally through Jack or Rambo? I don't know, but it's a great question to ponder.
Dom, come in.
I agree. I do agree. I don't think that there is any point trying to replace Santi Cazorla and continue to play the same way, because it's, like we've already said, he's such a unique player with what he does. And I think that it is understated sometimes just how important he is at linking the defence to attack, which, does bring in the question, well, if he's not going to be able to play because he's not going to be around forever, then what do? We need to change something, or have different options, or a team capable of playing slightly differently. And what I can't understand is, if you're going to play Xhaka and Coquelin next to each other, why wouldn't you have Coquelin staying deep and Xhaka forward? Because his passing range is better, and he's more capable of doing more damage up the pitch, and Coquelin is better suited to sitting back and breaking up play. If you look at both of those players' skill sets, you don't think of Coquelin in the final third picking out passes and scoring goals. Granit Xhaka has scored a couple from range. He's got that in his locker, and he's also got that passing range as well. So that's one question I have, is why is it that Xhaka is constantly the deepest of the two? And then secondly, I don't think it's a balanced midfield at all. You look at, people before the season started had said things like, oh, isn't it going to be good that we can put two defensive players next to each other like that in midfield and, play defensive against big teams if we need to. But that's not our game. It completely unbalances everything. And you look at conceding 2 goals to Man City and 2 goals to Everton after being 1-0 up, where we tried to be defensive and the midfield was completely overrun anyway. That, the conversation to have Aaron Ramsey in midfield, if you're going to say, oh, well, it unbalances us defensively, makes us weak. Well, I don't really think that we're a defensively strong team at the moment with those two playing together anyway. So, me and Geoff spoke about, why is it that Santi Cazorla can play in central midfield and we don't look vulnerable defensively? And his defensive capabilities lie with the fact that he doesn't lose the ball, and he forces teams to second guess whether they should press or not. You press him, he'll pass it around you. You don't press him, and then all of a sudden we can get through the midfield a little bit more easily. So we don't have a player that has that skill set. I think between Jack and Ramsey, there's a good mix in the central midfield box-to-box kind of role. But to me, it needs to be either Granit Xhaka or Francis Coquelin playing deep, not having them together. And so far, it hasn't worked, and I really don't think it's going to. I know that we were all wrong about Alexis playing up front, but at least Alexis has the qualities of a player that can do that role, and it eventually has worked out. I don't see Coquelin having the qualities as a central box-to-box midfielder that's going to end up being something that we look at and think, oh, that's good, that's dangerous, and teams are going to be very concerned. They're going to continue to press him. He is a weak link in that midfield when he's playing that role. And that's taking nothing away from him as a defensive-minded player when he is sitting deep. I think he's the best in our team at doing that, but he's not playing that role at the moment. So that's why I think I've got so many critical things to say about him. And it's not necessarily him, but it's the position he's being asked to play. It's very similar to, playing Ramsey out wide on the right. People are going to be critical of his performances, but it's not his position. He's not going to be out there winning games from the right-hand side. Arshavin was the same thing. Everyone wanted him to be an attacking midfielder, and he constantly got pushed out to the left. Sometimes it's these square pegs in round holes that the manager's been accused of in the past. I know that There was a 4-1-4-1 formation a couple of years ago where he tried to squeeze Ramsey and Wilshere into the same team and have an Arteta as a defensive midfielder, and all of us were just scratching our heads thinking, God, I can't wait for this experiment to finish. That's how I feel about this. That's how I'm looking at the Coquelin and Xhaka midfield. Is that I just don't think it gives us anything defensively. I don't think it gives us anything offensively. I think it's a bit of a nothing midfield. And, I don't want to sound too negative with El Neni, but I don't think that he brings too much either way as well. I think he's more of a tidy player, keeps the game ticking. He's a little bit sideways as well, but at the moment, if you look at Coquelin's performances in the central midfield area, it's just sideways passing. There's very little of anything offensively that's going to worry anybody. He's given the ball away a lot too under pressure, which, again, I don't think necessarily his fault. He's been asked to play a position that he's not naturally gifted in, and I don't think he's going to just pick it up overnight either. So the problem that we've got is that the only other player I think is dangerous in that position is Ramsey, and he hasn't been fit. A fit Aaron Ramsey 3 or 4 games in a row, I think he would shut a lot of the haters up for sure. I'm sure they're not going to give him any credit, but he might silence a few people given a few run of games in that central midfield position because he hasn't played there for one reason or another, whether it be Santi's form, which kept him out, which is fair enough, or his injury record. He hasn't really had a run of games in central midfield since that amazing run of form he had a couple of seasons ago. And I don't think he's forgotten how to play. I think it's just going to be a matter of staying fit, staying healthy, and being capable of putting in the performances at the level that he needs to. And I think that he's going to get back to maybe not quite that form because he doesn't need to. When you've got Alexis and Ozil able to impact games, I don't think he needs to do as much as what he was in that form because he was just unbelievable. They're scoring, assisting, tackling, getting back. He was doing everything. I just think that he just needs to stay fit, and I think that would be our best option whilst Santi's not available.
I'm just looking at Santi's injuries. He's only had 4 injuries in the 5 seasons he's been with us. He had I'm not sure how to say this, Dom, Malleolar injury. What's that?
That's a foot injury.
Right, he had that, and he was out for 35 days, 7 games. Then he got the big one, the knee injury, and he was out for 141 days. And then after that
wasn't. No, hang on, that was
November last year.
That was the same game as Coquelin, or one after, or one before, or something.
One before, and Sanchez got injured the same day as well. Yeah. We had 3 big injuries at the same time.
And that was a knee injury, and that was out for missed 20 games. And then the next one was March this year, Achilles irritation, 43 days, 7 games. Now this one, ankle injury, he's been out for 136 days, and that's 27 games. But you look at some of the greatest players, I'm not putting them in the same category as these, Lothar Matthäus, Ruud Gullit, Del Piero, and maybe even Pirlo. All those players started out playing more attacking roles. Now you look at Santi's first season, 12-13. He's 38. He played every single Premier League game, scored 12 goals. And then we stopped him playing out wide so much, and we started to move him in. So if he's only had 4 injuries in the 5 seasons that he's been with us, I mean, are they because he's been unlucky like Jack has been unlucky, or is this a sign that he's breaking down because he's still only 32? And if he comes back from this, there's no reason. I mean, before that, while he was at Villarreal, he only had 2 injuries. He had a tear in the abductor muscle and a fracture of the tibia. Now, the tibular one, that's going to be just a collision injury, injury, isn't it? And the tear to the abductor, I mean, that could just happen to anybody. So I don't think anything he's had so far shows a sign that he's getting too old. So being that he can play with both feet, do you think he could possibly see him taking being able to stay at the club? Because in 2 days' time, he's allowed to have talks with other teams, just like Per Mertesacker and Yaya Sanogo's are. So there's been nothing that I've read that the players are going to be offered new contracts. But at 32, from your medical opinion, do you think that he's ready for the glue factory, or could he carry on?
Sorry, guys.
The thing with his contract is that
on Santi's contract, we have a year's option on him, which
we did with Rosicky. So I think by all reports we're going to activate that, and he'll be around next year, which is good, as long as it doesn't stop us from. If we do the same thing we did with Arteta and we say, okay, let's put all our eggs in Arteta's basket, and that's, we're not going to buy anybody, we're not going to invest in the transfer window. He says that he can last a season. then it's a stupid decision. If we keep him around and we still either bring Jack back or do what we need to do in the transfer window, then great, we can add that to the squad. But I think, Geoff was right. He's not going to be someone you can rely on for 45 games in a season and playing that central midfield role. It doesn't matter who you are or, how good you are, what your skill set is. You have to move, you have to run, you have to recover. And the injuries that he's getting now are the worry ones. They're soft tissue, they're calf, Achilles related. To get him back up to fitness and Premier League standard is really difficult, especially now that he's having surgery and he's got to start from scratch again. Look, I'm not sure that it wouldn't be a sensible thing to pin your hopes on Santi Cazorla. That's what I would say. If I was giving the club any kind of advice, from a medical standpoint, I would say, look, don't think that he's going to be a player that you can build your team around next season. He can be a squad player or an addition to what you want to do. But if you're going to plan your tactics around having him in the team every week, then that would be a mistake. And that's why, we've been speaking so much about what are we going to do with that midfield, because it's such an important part of big games. You can probably get away with having a really, really good attack against shitty teams. You can have a really, really good defense in some games to kind of keep you in it. But if you're not going to win the midfield battle in the big games, then you're going to really, really struggle against the top teams. And I think that this just, you look at the stats against our performances against the big top six, I guess it is, over the last year or so, it's not great. And I think a lot of that is down to the fact that they press us really hard and that we crumble. And that's what you see when we look like we've bottled it, is that we just can't put up with the pressure because our midfield's not able to go toe-to-toe, which, you can talk about the numbers in the midfield all you want. We do have a lot of players, but I just don't think we have enough, say, quality in there. But it just doesn't seem that it's working. It just doesn't seem that there's a facility to it.
Let's be fair, okay? Francis Coughlin is a fantastic destroyer. Okay.
He's going forward too much, though, isn't he? That's not his game.
He's not comfortable on the ball. He is the most uncomfortable midfielder on the ball we have at the club. And the bottom line is, he doesn't make Chelsea's squad. He doesn't make Tottenham's squad. He doesn't.
In that position.
No, he does. Yeah. He doesn't make them at all anyway. No? He does not. No.
I don't know. I think he would make a couple as the defensive midfield player.
If you think any of those clubs would buy a player like Francis Coughlin, and they've made some bad buys.
Wasn't Coughlin second only to Conte last season in his defensive midfielder role with the number of interceptions and all? I don't know what the stats were.
Yeah, but he doesn't give you anything going forward.
But that's because he's playing. We're playing.
But neither does Conte. That's the argument. Is that neither does Conte. And
I think that squad, Francis Coughlin doesn't get in there. Okay, there's a difference, boys. I'm sorry. Okay, love him as a destroyer. I think Arsene Wenger's, sold him up the river, playing him further up the park, because it just adds too much pressure on him.
Yeah, I've got one question for Dom. The final thing about can I ask him about the Cazorla thing?
Go, yeah.
Dom, we've seen that when Wilshere has now left the club and he's playing elsewhere and playing in the kind of 10 role that he wants to play, he is playing game after game after game, the full 90 minutes. And we saw at the weekend that he got nearly murdered by Cahill for doing his old holding onto the ball too long. Do you think that the fact that Jack has left Arsenal and is playing somewhere else and he's not getting injured and he's playing continuous 90 minutes, do you think that if Santi left the club, then he would be able to go and do that? Is it just Arsenal that is making these players look injury prone when they're really not?
I've said this a million times. Jack's not injury prone as far as his body letting him down.
Holding onto the ball.
If any of us took the kicks that he took, we'd have broken bones as well. It's as simple as that.
Is Santi injury prone then, or is it the same as Jack?
Well, his is different. No. The thing is with Santi, I honestly think he was mismanaged. I think that he was playing in games that we really didn't need him to be playing in at a time where he had Achilles problems. It was very well documented at the start of the year that Santi was struggling with some Achilles issues. And the only way that he could have fixed them, I guess, is to stop playing. Koscielny had some similar problems, if you recall, coming off of the Euros, or it might have been one of the big tournaments
where he had
injured
towards the end of the game.
Yeah, he just had some inflammation, some flaring up in his Achilles, and Santi had something similar. And we were playing him in games that we didn't need to. I think that we had we had Xhaka on the bench. Everyone was scratching their heads thinking, why isn't this guy playing? We had El Neni, we had Coquelin. They were all fit. And he plays him in a game against Ludogorets that really he didn't need to be playing. And that was after playing 90 minutes, 2 games in a row before that against teams. It was against some big teams too. I can't remember what it was. But
Wenger
he just didn't
loves
need
to
to be
do
playing that,
doesn't he?
Yeah,
we'd be 4-0 up and he'd still leave
is
Sanchez and Ozil on.
So I think with that, everything you got to look at, I think, individually and not systematically when it comes to that. That Jack's playing 90 minutes every week because he was managed well at the start of the season. They got his fitness up to scratch slowly. They started to introduce him with some substitute performances. And the problem we've had is that when Ramsey's been in form, he's been playing every single game, doesn't get rotated, bang, does a hamstring, he's out. Then Jack's not played any games, bang, he's straight in for 90 minutes every week. And then he plays about 5 or 6 games in a row and gets kicked, and then he's back out again. Then Ramsey comes back. That's what it's been for the last God knows how long from what I've seen, is that players aren't given a chance to slowly kind of get into the team and get a bit of a rhythm and get some fitness up slowly, where Jack's been able to do that at Bournemouth. But he's also only having to play once a week. The training can be modified for him where he doesn't have to go and recover in 2 days to be part of a squad to play a Champions League game somewhere. He doesn't have possession as much at Bournemouth as Arsenal. We're a team that has consistently 60% of the ball and inviting a lot of challenges. And at Bournemouth, they do play a high-ish percentage game, but not to the same extent. And I just think that it comes down to the fact that Jack's not an injury-prone player when it comes to his body letting him down. Ramsey is. Aaron Ramsey consistently gets soft tissue problems. Oxlade-Chamberlain consistently gets soft tissue injury problems. Theo Walcott consistently gets soft tissue injury problems. And Santi Cazorla's problems are, yes, they're a little different. They were an inflammatory issue that wasn't managed well, and now it's turned into surgery. And that's my concern, is that to come back from that and get back to an elite level and play game in, game out at his age and his athletic kind of ability, I'm skeptical, very skeptical. That's why I think that we need to start looking now at what the options are going to be in that midfield, because it's so important.
Well said. Right. Okay, Geoff. 2016 going to 2017. Are you optimistic? Do you think we can actually string a run of wins together?
I think so, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to catch Chelsea, to be honest with you. We've got some difficult games coming up. There should be no reason why we can't. We touched on the fact that we have a deep squad. We've got some good options. Sanchez seems to be continuing to play very well. He moved out on the wing on the weekend, but was still highly influential. Giroud is in a bit of form. So he looks decent. We'd like to, hopefully we've got Mustafi coming back soon. So that's a good option at the back there. Welbeck's in training. There's something to be optimistic there. Hopefully he can get back in the squad and give us another option. You never know. We might see him playing out wide as well as he was before he got injured. So there's some good things there. There's some good elements there. It's just ultimately the question is going to be: will it be enough to catch the high flyers at the top of the league in the Chelsea and the Liverpools who don't have Bayern Munich in the Champions League awaiting them. So we've definitely got a couple more Champions League games. It's going to be a tough go. Now, 9 points, is that the end? Are we out? Absolutely not. You can't believe that. But certainly we've got to put together a run now. If those are 1-0 wins from here over the next few games, let's do it. But yeah, it might be a bit beyond us right now, Jace.
That's fair enough. I mean, I've got to be honest. We look at this. We need. I agree with Dom. We need to get a functioning midfield going, and I don't see playing Coquelin further up the park working at all. Pulling back as a destroyer, brilliant, but further up there, he's the poor bugger's getting hammered.
Like I've said all season, Jace, it's got to have to be Xhaka and Ramsey, because Ramsey is creative.
Well, he does the thing as well, but he's got to be fit first and foremost. Okay, and that's where it goes with Santi. I've got a bad feeling that Santi's injury problems are just going to continue. I really do, and I hope I'm wrong. I pray to God I'm wrong, because we need a fully fit squad. I know we got some questions coming up later about certain players, etc. We can discuss those in a bit more detail, but I think we've got to have a bit of a positive mental attitude about this and really get going, because we have played some really bright stuff so far this season. We've played some really good stuff this season, but we have let ourselves down as well. We had some last season, not this calendar year, we had 2 whole months without winning a game. 2 whole months, and that's just not on. You can't do that and expect.
No one's going to catch Chelsea, Jace. I mean, they're out of the League Cup. They're not in Europe.
Dan,
Jace.
I do not accept that whatsoever.
It's a fact.
Yeah. You were different characters. Okay, that's fair enough. It's only 9 points. Okay, it's been done before. I know. They get a couple of injuries and things look very different for them.
Well, they're just going to buy anyone they need.
They can't, though, can they? But I know they'll find a way.
In 2 days. You watch. He didn't get the players he wanted in the summer transfer window. That he's shown them. He's shown Abramovich what he can do, and they will say, "Here, go and buy whatever you need to make sure you win the title." All they've got is the FA Cup against Peterborough, and then the rest of them are Premier League games.
They won't bring anybody in.
Stroll to the. Of course they will.
They won't.
I'm telling you, they will.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm older than you. I'm wiser.
We'll see at the end.
I'm telling you, they will.
We'll see at the end. They won't bring anybody in. I think he's happy with the squad, unless he can bring in a top striker. And everybody keeps on telling me nobody's ever available in January.
Yeah,
but you know what I mean. Wait and see. But
there'll be a few holiday villas going on the Russian coast for certain players.
Not being funny.
And they've got to replace Oscar. They've just got 60 million for him.
Nobody ever fucking won anything by being pessimistic. You have to be positive. You have to be optimistic.
I beat Sean at Scrabble the other night, and I was highly pessimistic that I'd win.
I saw that board, and that board was not a fucking disgrace. I
managed to beat her by putting quad, squad, squads. I fucking owned her. It was the first ever game, and I beat her by 10 points.
Okay, that's 2016, and just a bit of a discussion on that.
Well, what's your thoughts on it then? You've asked us, and we've all given you what we thought. What's the gist of what you thought? Because it's interesting.
I do think there's something endemic which needs to change. Okay, but you can say it's the manager, you can say it's thing. I just see leadership on the pitch. People will say, okay, there aren't that many players out there that are able to influence games. I didn't think Mustafi was that type of player, but he's come in and done it. I think we're a little bit weak in that area. I think, Xhaka will grow and hopefully become a kind of player who could do that. I wouldn't mind another striker at the club, but I
could have had Tevez for 615 grand a week if you want him.
No, that's all right. But you look at it, people, we idolise players, then we victimise them. You look at Awobi, this time last year whenever he came to think
shit didn't stink this time last year, did it?
Yeah. And now all of a sudden everybody's on his back. Okay, he's a kid learning his trade. He's nowhere near the finished article. Give him time. Stop fucking building them up to be the world's best when they're not. Okay, he's a young kid. He's got to learn his trade, and I wouldn't mind seeing him loaned out. I don't think he adds a massive amount to us at the moment. I'd like to see him do well for us, but I think that's a bit of an issue for us.
Negatives, or don't you have negatives?
No, 2016 was a negative. Let's be honest. We should have won that title, and we should have.
We lost to Watford, for fuck's sake, in the FA Cup.
Yeah, never mind Watford in the FA Cup. Okay, we lost to Swansea in the league. We lost to WBA in the league. Okay, we lost stupid ass games which we should, we should never ever have lost in a million years. We lacked a bit of backbone there, and I think it comes back to this business where at times Wenger will drive players into the ground by overplaying them, and yet, you know, he has this model in midfield with Coughlin and Santi when they play, which is nigh on impossible for us to replicate. So you have to have an option, and we don't have an option there, because he, you know, at one point he was loath to play Xhaka, and, you know, Xhaka had never said anything. He'd never done anything. Okay, he just didn't pick him. It wasn't that Xhaka was mouthing off. He wasn't. He just refused to pick him. You know, going with picking a midfield of Coughlin and El Nene, well, excuse my French, but fuck me, you know, what are we doing? Trying to be Mr. Negative Personality of the Year? And that's not the way the Arsenal have played under him when they've been successful. We've been a bit more dynamic than that. And that's one of the things which has annoyed me. You know, you can't change the midfield every game for a 12-game period. You can't do that and expect to get away with it. You know, we've dropped points to Borough, which is frustrating, but happens. You know, the games against City and Everton were real downers because we were spineless in both of them. But this has been an ongoing issue. He needs to sort it out, and he needs to sort of bring people together, and we need to really garner ourselves for a push, and we need to cut out the nonsense. You know, I don't understand a guy like Shelny wearing the captain's armband at all. And I know people will say, okay, there should be leaders all over the pitch. But in those two games, I saw no leaders on the pitch whatsoever. None. And, you know, we have to sort of really, you know, get some backbone and have a go at it. But how he's going to do that without bringing in, without either allowing sort of the Xhaka types to express themselves, or they'll bring in somebody else, I don't know. But I'm sure we can win the league if we put our minds to it, you know, and we really have a go. You know, Europe now, it isn't as tough as it is before Christmas, so that's easier. But you know, we need to be challenging for this title, and we need to stop dropping stupid points. We should have won those two games against City and Everton. You know, it was really disappointing. We just didn't turn up, and we need to cut that out. We need to turn up for every game. You know, it's a real bugbear for me, where, you know, we've got some great players, but, you know, we at times we can be spineless, and that's what worries me.
That's the thing the team need to sort of understand, though, isn't it, Jason? That's what I don't think they get, is even some fans say, oh, well, it's only one loss. But those two losses have nearly essentially put us out of the race. Those two 90-minute performances where we were up 1-0 against both of those teams. And if we had been able to grind out a result like you would hope, and we could get a couple of 1-0 victories there like Chelsea have been able to do, then we're only 3 points off the top. And you're talking about a Chelsea team that's on one of the best runs in Premier League history, winning all those games in a row. And you think, well, shit, they can't keep up that for the rest of the season, and we're close enough to be able to pounce. Whereas 2 games later, yes, it's only one loss. Oh, it's only one loss. I don't know what everyone's upset about. Well, you're 9 points back now, and you're talking about trying to catch a team that only has to play once a week, and is playing some fantastic football.
It's a side of it, though. Okay, you know, I keep on when I can't stay off Twitter because, you know, there's some utter fucking morons on there. But we're either idolising players. It's like for some people, Lauren Koscielny can do no wrong, but he never influences a game. He'll make a great interception, then he'll drop the biggest bollock ever. You know, I saw people having a proper check. Why has he been beaten at his near post for the City game? And well, he's got to cover the. You know, yes, the near post is important, but he's got 2 players there who should be blocking the ball, and he's got to cover 80% of the goal. So, of course, he's expecting the shot to come in 80% towards the majority of the goal, and yet he's getting pilloried by some people. We build them up and we tear them down. And it doesn't work that way. We just want a bit more consistency from the players, but we have to understand their limitations. We know Lauren Koscielny will drop a bollock. We know he's not an extrovert. He's not that type of guy. I don't understand him having the captain's armband. I think it's a little bit pointless. But in all fairness, who else is there to take it over? Who else is there to take it over? But we need people to stand up and be counted now, and to really, become leaders on the pitch, because I didn't see any leadership against Everton, and I didn't see any against City. And for all this business of people thinking Francis Coughlin's a great player, I'm sorry, he's a great destroyer. He's a great defensive midfielder. He is not a good Premier League midfielder. So there you go.
We shan't have asked now.
There you go. That's what you want.
You've depressed me.
I know we're probably trying to draw a line under this, but I think you'd be hard pressed to argue that this squad isn't better than what it was last year. We've certainly strengthened the team.
Yeah, but in all fairness, Geoff, it has to be better than last season, because we were carrying a 33-year-old who couldn't run, and we were carrying a 34-year-old, who didn't want to fucking be there. And we
didn't buy anyone at the start of the last season either. And we didn't buy anyone.
And those are the things which annoy me. Arsene Wenger is culpable for those things. Why on earth would you
look what you've done, OG. You've set him off. You put fresh batteries in him.
He's violently agreeing with all of us, though. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find anyone to argue that. I mean, I think we were all pretty frustrated by the fact.
But there's people out there who were saying, it's great to have Arteta there. Why is it? He was past it 2 seasons before. And
it's the same argument that I had last time I was on here about, that Coughlan brings so much to the dressing room and his intensity, etc. And I thought, well, I'd rather someone bring something to the pitch.
But where the fuck was that intensity against Everton, and where the fuck was it against Man City? His passing accuracy against Man City.
Done it again. We've set him off again.
Was 57%. 57% pass accuracy for an Arsenal midfielder.
We've done that argument to death.
Yeah, we have. Okay.
Coughlin's not going to be a central midfielder that makes me think, oh, yes, please put him there. It's not going to happen anytime soon. There's not much to suggest that it's going to happen. So
yeah, it's just one of those.
Here's where I was going with that.
Sorry.
I'm just going to say, I think you'd be hard pressed to say that we don't have a better squad this year. We've strengthened. Walcott's got his head out of his ass. We have a better defense. We've jettisoned some of the dead weight. And here we are. We're on 37 points, 1 game away from mid-season. Last year, at 19 games in, halfway mark, we were on 39 points. So if we beat Crystal Palace, we're only 1 point better. Says a lot, doesn't it? I mean, if you think about it, that it's probably putting into numbers what we're all kind of feeling right now, is that we're not to say that nobody has any hope, Jace, well registered that we have to be positive and we've got to go try and get a string of results put together. But I think that says a lot, that we've put a lot into this team in the off season. We've tried to improve it. We have improved it, and we're basically on a point tally that's fairly close to where we were last year. Incidentally, we were first after 19 games last year, tied joint top with Leicester. But that also speaks to the quality in the league this year, that it has improved. And I know that was a frequent talking point.
And they're going down.
Yeah,
well, that was the thing last year, wasn't it? We all said that there's no way that Chelsea, City, United, and Tottenham, or whoever it was, are going to all have seasons where they shut the bed all at the same time again. It was going to be one of them, whether it was City, Chelsea, United. Someone was going to end up having a half-decent season this year. They all were terrible last year, which is why we were ahead. I don't think it's because we were fantastic last year at all. I think it was because there was just this weird thing with last year where all of those big teams were terrible and we were just the best of them.
Yeah,
we were less terrible.
Yeah, slightly less. Right, okay. Questions. Daniel, take it away.
Okie dokie. Right, Barry says, does Wenger not rate Lucas Perez? I think he deserves a start in the Premier League. And AFC Bam says, Perez, what's going on there then? What do you reckon, Geoff?
Yeah, I think he's just easing him in. I reckon he does rate him. I think he probably took a punt on him. He was cheap. We didn't get Vardy in the summer, and while it may drive some people nuts, you can kind of see what he was looking for there, and that he was looking for a guy who can finish the ball. No stranger to scoring goals, but that said, Alexis has been very good this season. We can see how Lucas Perez can maybe come in in the width on the outside. I've been really impressed with what I've seen from him. We've talked about his crossing the ball, but he's got a keen eye for goal. He's faster than I think a lot of people give him credit for. So he takes a few seconds to get up to speed, but when he does, he can certainly catch a team on the break, especially out on the width where he's got some room to move in. So it's hard to say. He may be just doing his very Arsene Wenger thing of easing Lucas into the Premier League. Although that said, he showed enough for me to at least get a chance. Looking ahead with Welbeck back in full training, it's going to be a lot harder for Lucas Perez. But competition's good in that space. So would I like to see him against a Crystal Palace? Sure, yeah. Why not? He has looked fairly decent when he's played out there. Certainly, Iwobi looks like as a young player he might need a bit of a break. Ox is injured. Walcott doesn't sound like he'll be back for Palace. So it's quite possible that we could see him out there. I wish him well. Let's hopefully he can get a goal or an assist or a cross to Big Ollie Giroud or Alexis to finish it off. So it's hard to say. I think it's being a bit. I think you're oversimplifying it by saying does Arsene Wenger not rate? Of course he rates him. He bought him, but it's hard to say what exactly might be going on behind the scenes there.
Okay, right, one for you, Jace. From Ryan Coracy. I'm not even going to give it a go. Will Ramsey, Wilshere, and Cazorla all be back in next season? I think he means back in contention for a first team place. I think especially the last two, Wilshere and Cazorla.
Yeah, I think so.
Bloody hell. Jesus, they'd say miracles happen at Christmas. Jace has answered the question in, what was that, 3 words? Don't laugh, you'll encourage me. Right, this one for you, Dom. It's about that picture of all the attempts on goal. Mark Blondale says, what are we attempting when shooting? With every ball straight at the keeper, we make them look good ourselves. And the picture he's included here, it's a picture of the goal from top-down view with red arrows for miss, blue on target and yellow for the goal. It says 26 shots, 1 goal, 11 on target. What was your thoughts about that, Dom?
I think we covered it earlier where, if that's not happening every week, and if it was, then we'd probably be a little bit more worried about it. But the keeper had an absolute blinder, and you put a good point that they weren't necessarily straight at him. Some were higher, some were lower. You can't get a 3D mapping of exactly where the shots were, but there were some saves that guy made that, he hasn't done all year and probably won't do for the rest of the year. But I think in general, our finishing or our goals to shots ratio, I'm sure Geoff's probably got some stats on that it's been actually pretty good. So, even the manager's kind of spoken about it where we seem to be having, 4 or 5 shots on target and scoring 3 goals earlier in the season when we were playing a little bit better with Alexis up there. So I don't think it's anything to be kind of too concerned about. A bit of both, like if we'd scored a goal early in that game, it would have been different. And if the keeper just didn't decide to have the game of his life, it would have been a bit different.
You got anything to add to that, Geoff?
I would just say that we scored 39 goals this season. That's good for being joint second in the league with City. Liverpool running away with it on 45, Chelsea on 38. That sort of rounds out the top 4. And even more importantly, that Dom and I will certainly talked about this before, is that our goals conceded are right on 19. So that's in and about the right place you should be sort of, to trend towards winning the league. Now, I'm not saying we're going to win the league based on that, but it's sort of in the right ballpark. The unfortunate problem is that Chelsea have only conceded 11 and that lot from Middlesex has conceded 13. So it's a good point that Dom raises that we are scoring goals. I don't think that's really the issue. And we're not conceding a ton of goals. So not too bad. That's probably what I would add to that.
I saw a Twitter stat the other day that could well be made up. It said since Jurgen Klopp has come to Liverpool, they've scored the most goals, had the most shots, and had the most tackles. So whether that's true or not, I don't know. Right, one for you, Jace, from Tone. If we get a good offer for for Ox, is it time to take the cash and buy a young Brit?
Who would you buy?
I tweeted back and said that all the Brits are wank anyway.
Racist.
And to be honest, I mean, I think Ox has upped his game so far this season. I think he's
definitely
he's doing better than he has done. Yeah. But he's added a lot to his. He's been more effective this season. So no, I wouldn't. I've got to be honest. I don't see anybody out there who could come in and do as well. Combined with that, the Ox hasn't really been given. We've spoken about Perez just now, and Ox falls in the same category. He's not getting the run of games he's needed, and now the injury's kicked in. It's going to knock him back again. This business of playing the Warby on the left. He hasn't quite got the pace. He's still learning the game. I think he could be a great talent, and he's got an exciting future, but I think he's been overused. Whereas I'd have liked to have seen the Ox given a bit more run there, or Perez, But no, I wouldn't just sell him. I wouldn't. I got to be honest here. I think, he's starting to show us what he's capable of. Don't throw it away.
The Ox has played 15 games this season. 7 of those he's come on, and 8 of those he's come off. So very disjointed season for him. And his stats are he's 2 goals and 4 assists, and that is just in the league. And we know he's got about 6 goals in all competitions. All right, question for Dom. Oh no, do you want one on? No, you don't want on transfers, do you? Do you want one on transfers or cheese?
Transfers. I don't care about cheese.
Mike Gannon, January signings? ? Usual stuff. Do you agree?
Yeah, I don't think we'll sign anyone, and I don't necessarily think that would be the worst thing in the world. I think we keep talking about the players that are to come back into the squad, but again, it's all defensive players and attacking players. The midfield's where I think the biggest problems are, and we're not going to see Santi anytime soon. So unless Ramsey decides to stay fit and put some good form together, I'm not sure that it's going to change anything all that much anyway. So, and if we're going to go out and buy another midfielder in January, I really highly doubt that we're going to do that too. So I don't think we're going to sign anyone, and I'm not really too worried about it. I don't think a lack of good players is actually our problem. When you look at Welbeck coming back, Perez hasn't played all that much. Theo's been in good form, and he's to come back soon. Alexis and Giroud can both play up front. Welbeck can play up front. Perez can play up front. I just don't think that there's going to be anywhere in the team that we're going to be screaming to get somebody in. The only player I could see having a little bit of a look at might be someone like Mahrez. That's about it. But I think that would be more of a summertime target.
He's out of favour at Leicester. He's not scoring the goals or getting the assists, and he's been dropped.
Well, they've been a bit shit, haven't they? I think that he maybe I think he's a quality player. Very good. Yeah, he's a very, very good player. I don't think he was a one season wonder, put it that way. I think that he would add a lot to our team, I think.
Okay, one for you, Geoff. AB Guna says, it's probably not true, but what do you people think of Allegri to Arsenal rumours? Could he be a success with Arsenal? He's currently the Juventus manager, been there for his 3rd season, and they're running away with the season, yet the league yet again, and they've just equalled their record of 25 consecutive wins. They make Chelsea look like part-timers. He's only 49 years old. Had a hell of a playing career. Was at about 100 different clubs, and before managing Juventus, he was manager of Milan, but that was when Milan was shit. What's your thoughts on that?
I don't have a whole lot on that, to be honest with you. I think
make it up. No one knows.
Yeah, we could say, yeah, he'd be great to replace Arsene Wenger, and maybe he would. I've probably put the kiss of death on him, and he'll be at the MLS at Houston Dynamo in a year, and then everyone will say, "Remember when you said he would be great to replace Arsene Wenger?" So certainly they're playing well at Juventus. I don't watch Serie A. That would be John Welsh is strength, but it's so hard to say. We've heard some names, and there's always some names out there being linked with Arsene Wenger's job. But I don't know. I don't watch enough of Juventus to really comment on that.
And I like my Italian football. And for a manager to have won the title with two different teams, he won it in Milan, I think, in his first or second season. And that's been when before Milan, they got taken over by some surprising to hear. I think they're Chinese investors. And my boys in Milan, they also got took over by Chinese investors. And then it turns to shit. Right, question for you, Jace, from Mark Fine. Is the moon really made of green cheese? I think we're scraping the barrel here.
Mark, for an intelligent man, you're a git.
And then followed up by that from Poorly Drawn Arsenal. What cracker goes best with green cheese? What's your thoughts on that?
A Christmas cracker.
And then Mark follows up the follow-up with red wine or white wine.
Ed Bangalaga.
There you go. Lovely. Nice to see a little bit of integration there with the Gooners on Twitter. Quite a rare thing, because neither of those who threaten to kill the other one at any point, and that is indeed rare. One for you, Dom, slightly more sensible. Nicky Wilson, as Arsenal's season is finished, what's your favourite movie you've seen this year? Don't say Star Wars.
Star Wars was pretty good this year. What have I seen?
It was great.
Maybe not a movie, but a series that I enjoyed a lot more than I thought that I was going to was Westworld. I thought that was very good. I know you wouldn't like it, Danny, because you don't have empathy and because you've got Asperger's, it's not going to ring with you. But
it was dog shit. I gave up after 3 episodes. Want a good one? Good series, Goliath on Amazon.
Don't listen to Danny. Whoever asked that question. Westworld was great. If you have empathy, if you actually care about things.
Inside Out, I nearly cried at that. Me and Sean watched $1 Million Baby the other night. Is all I could do to hold back the man hay fever. Geoff, what's been your favourite film of the year or TV series?
Well, I'm going to say Star Wars. I loved it.
Oh, that's it. You've gone rogue.
I've been fully torqued since I saw it. It was awkward leaving the theater.
There's a scene at the end, without giving any spoilers away, where Darth Vader's lightsaber lights up, and I think Geoff's actually kind of matched that in the cinema at the time.
How about TV series, Geoff?
I agree with Dom that Westworld was fantastic, but you didn't give it enough episodes. It got really good after episode 3.
The main character's a robot. That's all I'm going to say.
Jeez, why would you do that to people?
Because I hate it. It can burn in fires of hell. Jace, I know you're too busy.
Star Wars.
Rogue
One was brilliant, and TV series is probably The Man in the High Castle.
Oh, I'm only up to halfway through that. It's so slow, though.
I've enjoyed it.
Have you seen series 2 yet?
Yeah, I started watching a couple of episodes. Yeah, I like it. I enjoy it.
I'd also recommend Vikings, another hell of a series. And Broadchurch, that's back on series 3. That starts soon.
Okay, can we move this along now?
This is the film and media. What's your favourite album? No, I won't do favourite album because mine will
just be... Here's the pop quiz for you, Danny, or for the boys. I know the answer to this. You'll know the answer to this. What's Danny's favourite TV series? Anybody?
Westworld.
It's not Westworld. No,
Westworld. It's Westworld.
It's Lovejoy, isn't it? Danny, it's Lovejoy.
I love Lovejoy.
He loves it.
How dare you? A little bit of that and a little bit of Modern Family if I'm trying to bring it up to date. Right, back to the questions. This is, I can't remember whose go it was next. I think, Dom did that one. So this one's for you, Geoff. Fanfur Nas Fader. Jeez, I swear they do it to annoy me. He says, is this season different to any other season in any way? Do we have the right to expect a Premier League win? I got a sensible question. Steady on.
Is this season... Say the first part of that again.
Is this season different to any other previous season in any way? And do we have a right to expect it?
It's a fairly ambiguous question there. Is it different to any other season in any way? Yeah, it's different to a lot of seasons. We've been around since the 1800s.
It's the same old shit, though, isn't it? Yeah, every season.
Well, I mean, I know what he's trying to get to in the last...
You're not playing the game, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm going to be difficult. I'm going to be obtuse.
Ooh.
No, I mean, I know where he's going with it. Do we, there's 2 questions in that. Is it different than any other, any recent seasons? We talked about the fact that it's a different team, but we're still 9 points back. So maybe not. Do we have a right to expect the title? No, nobody has a right to expect the Premier League title. It's 38 games. It's a marathon. For me, it's the best competition in the world. I would much rather win the Premier League trophy than anything else that we compete in. And there's a reason it's hard to do over 38 games. For any team, you go up to Chelsea. Do they have a right to win the title? No more than any other team. There's 20 teams in the league, and everyone is in it to win it. So, I get where he's going with this. There's a sense sometimes that we're entitled fans. I think that in and of itself is a bit of a misnomer, in that I think if you look at the resources that are available to Arsenal, we should be close to the top every year. Does that mean we'll win it? No, it doesn't. But we need to close that 9-point gap, and I think we can do that. How it all lands in May, well, I guess we'll see.
Well, we were 6 points behind the leaders at the beginning of the season. If then in the end the world had come, we'd turn that around. Right, this next one is for you, Dom, from Dimitri. If Welbeck has another long-term injury setback, do we let him go? P.S. That FA Cup goal was worth his transfer alone.
Agree, that FA Cup goal was worth his transfer alone. I mean, you don't really want to think like that, do you? You hope that the guy's going to come back and be able to get fit and at least have the opportunity to show us what he's got, because I think that there is a pretty decent player in there. If worse comes to worse and he was to get injured again, then, I mean, who knows? It depends what kind of injury. It depends on a lot of things. The injury that he's got at the moment's a little concerning for me, because it's about inflammation and bone bruising, and the surgery that he had's quite a strange kind of procedure. So we're not going to know how he's going to react until he's played 2 or 3 games at the highest level to see how his body's going to respond, because you can train and train and train, but it's not the same intensity, and you're not putting your body under the same stress as a proper match. So he's got to get through a few games first and show that he can recover and pull up and keep producing those kind of, the physical performance, regardless of what his game's like. So fingers crossed for the guy. I think that he's, at the time of signing him, I wasn't necessarily over the moon, but I think that I'm probably a little bit more excited now, to be honest, that he's going to come back. I think he offers us something a little different.
Lovely. Geoff, how do you pronounce the name Francois? Is it Francois?
Francois?
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Anybody know who Francois Touré was?
No.
No, me neither. Mike from the Goonies in the USA podcast, Hard to Explain. It was when Kolo Touré was pretending to be somebody else when he was having an affair with somebody else, allegedly. So his question is, on the scale of Francois Touré to Nasri's penis, please estimate our chances at the Premier League title, Jace. It's terrible when you have to fucking explain a question.
I don't know what the fuck he's on about. He's getting worse. He's getting worse.
He is. He's got some kind of syndrome. I say blue, possibly 7.
It's 43, isn't it?
Oh, there you go. Right, there you go, Mike. That's your answer. When you go on his podcast, Jace, please annoy him as much as he annoys us with his wanky questions. That's it. That's all of the questions from you lovely people. Thank you very much.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, so Palace and predictions. Dom.
Palace. Is that home or away?
Sunday, the 1st of January, 4 p.m. at home.
Oh, you know what? I think that we're going to get a 2-0 victory there. And I think I'm probably going to change this once the team sheet comes out. But maybe...
I'll deny you did.
Maybe Perez to get the first goal. Yeah, you don't listen anyway. Been rigged.
I think we should have a little update on how the table is looking after we've done the predictions.
Oh,
Jace.
it's a fix.
Oh, absolutely. Every single week I have to remind him who I picked.
That's only because
forgets all my points.
I delete, like the Mr. Carpenter on the good ship, whatever ship he's on at the time. I delete all of my WhatsApps once a week. Partly for legal reasons.
Shit again, isn't it?
Partly for legal reasons, but partly because you. But some people, I get 500-600 messages a day on match days. You lot need to shut up more.
You're asleep. What are you talking about?
Well, I don't look at them. I just delete them, but they're still there.
Okay, you forgot one question as well, Maliko. Okay, so answer this when you're doing the prediction as well.
Yeah.
Will Giroud start again, or is Sanchez stepping back in?
Oh, I saw that question. I meant to add it.
So,
oh,
Dom, does Giroud start, or is Sanchez up top? And your prediction, please.
Well, I did my prediction. I don't know. I want to see Perez start. I know that's not the question, but I want to see Perez out on the left and maybe Alexis on the right with Giroud up top, or because I don't think. Yeah, I think Giroud will start because I don't think we've got any other wingers that can come in that are fit, and I think that Iwobi may get a rest. We've got a lot of games coming up. I think Giroud will start, not necessarily because it's the best option, but because it works with what we have available.
Fair enough. Okay. Geoff, Giroud's start and your prediction, please.
Yeah, I tend to agree with Dom. I think he probably will with Alexis on one side, and we'll see on the other side, maybe Lucas Perez. I think the question about it will be is if we get the defensive coverage out of those wingers ahead of possibly Gibbs or Monreal and Bellerin on each wing. And if we don't, I mean, I know certainly there was that comment made about Lucas and Gabriel getting into it about how much he was covering back. They could get at us down the wing, but I still think we'll win 2-0 Giroud. So there you go.
Danny, same question to you and prediction, please.
I'm just typing it into the computer. Apparently, the computer says no. That's an R. We've got 2 games in 3 days. Sunday the 1st and then Tuesday the 3rd. Don't you dare stick your fucking claws in me. Bergkamp's attacking me. Sharpens his nails on my bloody wheel. Horrendous. I reckon it's gonna be a tough game against these, but we're gonna end up hammering them 3-0. I would start Giroud because with Fat Sam in charge, they're not going to be playing pretty football. The first thing he's going to do is take out Kabaye, their most creative player, and have him shot and fed to the rest of them at dinner. So I'm going to go 3-0, and I'm going to go Big Ollie to score the first goal. And Jace, what's your answer to your own question?
It was Maliko's question.
I know that, but you asked it. You're not going to ask yourself, are you?
Apologies. Yeah, I tend to think as much as you guys do with Ox and Walcott out. I think he's going to start Ollie up front. And I think it's going to be...
You say Ramsey first goal, so I'm going to slap you.
3-1 to the Arsenal.
Oh.
And it's going to be Alexis Sanchez to score first.
Look at you. Lovely. And the listeners at home and in the tractor? Oh, yeah. That's interesting. I heard them shout it at their listening device. Our next game is Tuesday, the 3rd of January, 7:45, Bournemouth v Arsenal.
Are we doing predictions for that?
Yes, Tuesday.
Okay.
Already got Raj in.
Oh, Jesus. What's he done? Sack the manager? Sack the boat?
He has. He says he has gone 2-0 Ozzie for Bournemouth, and he has gone 3-0 Sanchez for Palace.
Ooh.
He's off topping up the wine glasses somewhere where there's ladies to be impressed.
Nice.
Depressed.
Okay, I'll go 4-1 to the Arsenal against Bournemouth with Ollie to score first.
Bloody hell. Good.
Dom?
I'll go 3-0 and Bournemouth. How far away is that? Oh, that's the next 2 days later, isn't it?
About 200 miles.
Yeah. I'll go Alexis.
Oh, sneaky. Come on, Jace, move it along, son.
Oh, sorry. Geoff?
I'll go 5-1 Alexis.
Ooh, no, we're getting big here.
He's getting cheeky.
Yeah, it's all on now. Done.
Hey, I'm pretty far down. I've got to make some moves here.
I think it's going to be 1-0 Ozzie because Bournemouth had no mugs.
Fair enough. Okay, time for shout-outs. Dom.
I heard one here. Fellow Ozzie, where is he? He's in Melbourne. Brendan Carroll at Dorito Brother, who gave me a follow not long ago, who listens to the pod. So Shout out to the fellow Australian.
I remember him.
And
because I tweeted him and said,
also
"I
we
like
haven't
Doritos."
mentioned it, but John Welsh's terrible, shitty ginger beard that hasn't had a shout out yet today. That I think needs a little bit of love because
and
God
you
knows
were moaning
John's
about
not...
that question. And you were moaning about that question.
No, you didn't read that question. I'm not being a part of that. Look, I just want what's best for John, and I think that he needs to just come to the realization that he's got a little bit of ginger in that beard, and that it needs a little bit more love and care. And I think that he should probably get on the phone to other Geoff and ask him for some beard advice.
I told him I wouldn't actually mention it, but just seeing as it's just the four of us, he's already direct messaged me and asked me for some tips.
I'm glad. No, I mean, I know that I take the piss, but I genuinely worry about him.
Yeah, I mean, the first step to making it better is realizing you have a problem, right? So he's already sent me a nice message, and I've given him a few tips. So we'll see how that goes.
For the listeners out there that don't understand, John Welsh used to have a beard that was almost like the Invincibles, and since then it's just gone downhill, kind of like the Arsenal. So that's probably a pretty good metaphor that we just want John Welsh's beard back.
Pray for John. Pray for John's beard. Okay, Geoff, your shout out, sir.
Before I do that, I just want to mention about the blogs here, Jace. So sorry, I'm doing a bit of a
crack on.
But took a break this week. But the boys, Simon, Luke, and Drew will be back at it next week. I think Drew's up on Tuesday, so keep your eye out for that. And my shout out goes to Ray Fox, a fellow Canadian, a good follow, always interacting, a positive guy. So at Ray G Fox is the at name, and Ray, fantastic work on your reading 50 books this year. Him and I both do a 50 book challenge. He got to 87 books in 1 year. I think they're mainly comic books. Read 87. I just saw an update.
I've never read that many in my life.
I think they're all 30. They might have been comic books. I don't know. I made it to 28. So, but Ray, he's well done, son. Get in.
He's a great guy, Ray. Is really
I follow him.
Great follow. Danny, your shout out, please, mate.
Well, I'm just looking at this site that tells me the people that I've interacted with the most over the last 600 tweets, and there we go. It's going to be Pizza Gooner. That's at Pizza Gooner. Can't give away any information as it's top secret, but this person knows who they are. And Will Stafford, WILSTAFFORD LSU. He was the bloke in America who won the big box of Arsenal stuff last season, and once we realised it was going to cost about 70 quid to post it to America, he said, just get Geoff Arsenal to unblock me and that will do. So he's an absolute gent for doing that. And I'm just looking. Third is my very own Sean, ignore her. And fourth is Mark King, MZK90. Best probably ignore him as well because he's nothing but trouble. So yeah, there you go. So there's the people. I just wanted the prediction league. I'm top with 33. Dom with second with 32. Chris third with 31. Carl with 29. And where's Jason? Oh, he's right near the bottom with only 21. And listeners, don't forget, send me your predictions. Get it the right way round and put your first goal scorer, because most weeks you don't even get a prediction. I just put 1-1 Giroud. And you got a point this week. Yeah, so listeners, make sure you do that. Thank you very much.
Okay, right on. So my shout out, we missed a question from this person. It's Dr. Henry von Buckle at Henry_Buckle. So sorry about that. We missed a question. Do apologise.
Might have been shit. I might have not missed it at all.
No, it was actually quite good. It was did you laugh when Sanchez kicked Giroud up the bum? Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Then shout outs. We have a shout out for Steve, who's very poorly in Poland. He's got the Polish lurgy.
Luckily, he made it, isn't he? A man of his years.
Yeah, to be fair, he's getting on now, and he,
Yes.
got to wrap up warm in this sort of weather. Another cold snap, you never know.
I heard he was mainlining Lockets.
It's been a little funny listening to him put a voice message in the Brilliant.
And then just like the mental poles around him, he tried to set fire to his own flat the other day with a Christmas pie cake pudding. I thought the whole place is going to go up. He's always on about them. Like, at least the fire department wouldn't have far to go.
Yeah, he wouldn't have that down, would he? He wouldn't have that down.
He would have eaten it, would have done any damage.
Yeah. And yeah, behave. Another shout out to Carl at that London guy. Over Christmas, Carl's been volunteering at a homeless shelter and unfortunately burned himself, and it's been infected, so he's in hospital at the moment. So chin up, Carl. You know, a lot of admiration for you doing that, and he's a great guy. Get well soon, pal. Get well soon from all of us.
And he was only there to look for a decent beard for John's shit beard, because John needed a new one. But
yeah, to be fair, he turned around and he did say every champ he's ever met has a better beard than John Welsh.
In fact, one of them was John.
Yeah.
Things he'll do for a mouthful of Heinz's finest tomato soup.
And a reach around. Well, in any case, that's all I have to do is thank the listeners. 2016 is nearly over.
Fuck.
Again, thank fuck for that. You know, honest to God, I can't handle any more celebrity deaths. It's gonna be the end of me. But without your support, it's just a bunch of idiots talking crap to nobody. Instead, we're a bunch of idiots talking bollocks to people.
You want a few interesting facts about our numbers? Our YouTube channel, we've only got 3,000 subscribers. We've had 431,000 views. Our website is approaching 10 million views. We're at 9.5 million views. Most of them is Dom looking for porn. And our SoundCloud channel has had 431,000 views. So that's you lot. Thank you very much. Without you, this would be pointless, wouldn't it, Jace?
It would.
We'd still do it.
To be fair, it's pointless anyway, but we'd just be having a chat on Skype. So,
Yes,
thank you very much. It's much appreciated from all of us here at ABW. Your interactions, and we've met some lovely people. We've also met some utter fuckwits, to be honest with you. But we like the lovely people. So
and we
thank
should
you
say hello to all of the 19 and 3/2 members of ABW at the moment.
No, fuck
without them, we couldn't have done anything.
Fuck
We got 19 and 3 on a, like when you see in the Scottish lower leagues when they score, it says a trialist. So we have 3 of those buggers.
Hey, congratulations to Ellis Mel.
Oh, she said yes.
Yeah, she said yes.
Oh, he'd been down to Argos. He spent 20 quid of his hard-earned NHS money. She said yes.
And she's not related to him, which is strange in that part of the world.
From Norwich. And we haven't found out yet whether he's got a huge mail thing downstairs or he's a millionaire. Cause it's got to be one or the other, because she isn't with him because of his looks. No, definitely not. Or his beard. He's another shit beard. But yeah. Thank you ever so much. We really do appreciate it. On behalf of us all, we wish you a really happy New Year, and we hope everything goes your way. That's it. Take care. Thank you ever so much. Good night. Danny. Yes.
Be professional.
Oh, what do you want me to say?
Nanu, cheeky monkeys.
Nanu, cheeky monkeys. Hello to Jason Isaacs. Oh, don't die now. Oh, he's had a good run.
Oh, honestly.
Another celebrity death.
Hey! To be fair, I don't even think my mum would miss me. I enjoyed that, boys. Really good discussion.
Always good.
It was good.
I really enjoyed that discussion. I think everybody was bang on the money with, But, I think I rambled, but never mind.
You know what? We forgot to feed Welsh Jason worms. That's what the people voted for.
Oh, fuck off.
No, you got to eat worms. Can you nip out in the garden and get some worms?
I've eaten a couple of worms when I was a kid.
Did you?
Yeah.
Are they
there.
Chewy worms?
Oh, they were all right, to be fair.
Did you wash the dirt off them?
No.
No.
That's part of the dare. You got to eat them with dirt on them.
You got an a la carte.
Well, it's a high in protein.
Yes.
And to be fair, but some dodgy kebabs, or I think there's been some worms in them as well.
Worms? That'd be good if they had bloody worms in them.
Yeah. A bit more protein.
That's the future of the human race, eating things with protein in, like worms.
Gentlemen, congratulations. You were excellent tonight.
You weren't too shonky yourself.
I'm always good, don't I?
Are you gonna? If I use this for the extras, are you gonna sing them a little song?
Oh, you don't hear me singing. On the good ship, lollipop. No, fuck that. I'll tell you what, boys, man.
All the fucking songs you could have sang.
Oh.
Good ship, lollipop. I've now got a vision of you dressed in a baby's bib, dancing around with a huge lollipop. I don't need that. Not in my head. Not in my ears.
Unbelievable.
When you go to bed tonight, think of that.
It's unbelievable, Geoff.
You should have said. You should have gone with "Give me a break, give me a break." I'm not gonna finish that, but you know where that was going.
Yeah, I know exactly where that's going.
There's a man with the flu in Poland right now. He's pissing himself.
Well, he does that anyway. He's old, isn't he? Bless him. His knees have gone.
Yeah, he didn't even listen to the podcast.
he puts a random tweet with one of those confectionery bars now and again. I just think, oh, please don't. Please don't.
I'm a boost man myself. I nothing I like more than a boost. You get the one with the guarana in, I'm well away.
Are you?
Yeah.
Are you drinking over Christmas as well? I tell you, I'd be shocked by that.
Oh, I only had one bottle a day. It's only 500ml, and each one took me about an hour to drink. It's nice though, it just tastes good. Did get a little bit lightheaded though, and he started a fight.
With who?
Santa.
I thought you were Santa.
Actually, someone sent me. I put my picture of me on either Instagram or on Twitter with all those thick bits in my beard, and some bloke messaged me and went, "I showed this to my young daughter, and she said, why has Santa got a reindeer hat on? Because I'd have some antlers on. She thought I was Santa."
Oh Jesus!
That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me.
Oh, in all fairness, yes. For a reason.
It's not really hard, is it?
Honestly, I tell you what, you're such a grumpy bastard. It's unbelievable. I just can't believe. 9 points of a thing, but I can't believe people are giving up already. I can't believe it.
Wait, we've got 30
The only
years
way.
of tradition.
Well, the thing is, if we were 9 points ahead of someone, then yeah, we could lose it.
Yeah, that's it. That's Arsenal. That sums it up.
I was going to say it's Chelsea ahead, so then it's not going to happen. So you look at how many teams. It was funny how many teams were top at Christmas that went on to win the league, and it's nearly everyone except Arsenal.
Except us. Yeah. I do think
there's a chance.
Have you got any New Year's resolutions, Jace? Without being rude, I might use this for the extras if you make it funny. Perform. I'm going to watch Sherlock Holmes. That's my New Year's resolution.
To be honest, I'm not sure I'm doing it New Year's Eve.
No, you can nip over. I've got Anna coming over and Sean and maybe Anna's sister. She's a drunkard. You'd like her.
You really don't want me in that room.